So I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem as we might see on paper. I think once you put it into practice, the group's going to figure out, okay, we're either going to leave it in or not, or maybe for certain shots you want it back in the hole, but that's all okay. I think it's all going to work itself out, and it's really not going to slow us down as much as we think. Any other questions about anything we've covered so far? No? Great. So we'll go into the flag stick a little bit more here and some of the significant changes with that, such as, again, there's no penalty for striking the flag stick accidentally, whether it's in the hole or not. You can choose to leave the flag stick in from anywhere, and then what happens if the ball is resting against the flag stick in the hole? What kind of consensus comes, or what decision comes out of that? So we'll start with, again, you're allowed to leave the flag stick in from anywhere, and there's no penalty if your ball strikes the flag stick. So if you strike it and it's left in the hole and it ricochets off, you're just going to play the ball as it lies. Or if a group takes it out and puts it to the side where they don't think anyone's going to hit it over here, and someone happens to hit the flag stick in that case, you're not getting penalized for that either if you hit it accidentally. You're just going to play the ball as it lies. What you can't do is put the flag stick in a spot to help you. So put it as a backstop. Maybe you're on a steep hill and your ball might roll off the green. Let me put it down here so it'll stop it.
Right.
Can't do that. But if your ball accidentally hits the flag stick, whether it's left in the hole or taken out on the green somewhere, there's no problem, no penalty, and you just play the ball as it lies in all of those cases. So restrictions on leaving the flag stick in the hole, similar to not putting it off the green anywhere, you can't deliberately position it in the hole either, because you think it's going to help you. So you see here it's a little crooked. The weird thing with this rule is if you do move it out of its original position because you think it's going to help you, you don't get the penalty for moving it. You only get the penalty for actually hitting the flag stick, so if it actually does help you. I don't know why that's the way it's written, but it is. I would not suggest anyone do it to test it, but you can't deliberately position the flag stick because you think it's going to help you. However, if the group in front of you was super lazy and didn't put it in the right way, and now you think it's going to help you and you want to leave it in that way, no problem. No penalty if you hit it then, because you weren't the ones deliberately positioning the flag stick. But if you come up to it like this and it's bothering you, go ahead and straighten it out or take it out completely. That's all still fine. And before a stroke is made, a player may either remove the flag stick completely, have it attended, or have it held up straight above the hole. And they can have this from anywhere on the course. Doesn't have to be on the putting green. So with having it held up above the hole, now you can't walk forward to give you something to aim for. The caddy or whoever's holding it for you would have to stay above the hole, but that's allowed. And I will say with attending the flag stick, the rules say that the flag stick is deemed to be attended even if you don't have a conversation. If your caddy, maybe someone you're playing with is just standing near the flag stick, looking like they're going to attend it, whether they're touching it or not, it is deemed that the flag stick is being attended. So if they then run away from the flag stick and you hit your ball and it hits it, you're going to be penalized. So I would have that conversation. If it looks like someone's attending the flag stick for you, I would say, okay, yeah, I want that attended. Can you take it out for me? Or, no, I wanted to leave it in. You have that conversation. That way there's no confusion on whether it's actually being attended or not. Okay? And then the last part, if your ball happens to end up like this, so you leave the flag stick in, you hit a good putt, and you get stuck wedged between the flag stick, and a part of it is under the ground and not all of it, congratulations. You just hold out with your last stroke. You no longer have to take it out, put it on the edge, and put it back in. This is considered hold. So if this happens to you, you're done with the hole, pick up your ball, and move on.
Cool.
Any questions about the flag stick? Okay. So we're going to go into dropping and redropping. So dropping, another major change that I'm sure we've all heard of, but we're not dropping from shoulder height anymore. We're going to be dropping from knee height. So we'll see what that looks like and talk about it a little bit more here.
When dropping your ball under the new rules, the likelihood you will need only one drop will increase, while the randomness of your resulting lie will be preserved. The procedure is simple. Hold the ball at knee height, let go of it so it falls straight down. And make sure that it lands and comes to rest in the relief area. Don't throw, roll, or spin the ball, and don't let it hit you as it falls.
So dropping. I know if anyone was following along with the changes, we may have heard, oh, we're going to place the ball everywhere, or maybe we can drop from whatever height we want. But they've come to the conclusion of dropping at knee height is the way that it should be, and there's a reason for it. So placing the ball, while it sounds nice, you're guaranteed a perfect lie every time. The RNA didn't like that. They said dropping, we need the randomness of it. And with shoulder height, or picking your height, your chances are, for shoulder height, you have to get it into a certain relief area. You're not going to get it in that spot the first time. Probably the majority of the times, or more times than not, you're not going to get it in the right spot. So they went to knee height, closer to the ground. You're more likely going to get it in the right spot on the first drop, while keeping the randomness of the lie with dropping. So that's where knee height came along. Now with dropping from knee height, I know with shoulder height, there's always a little bit of wiggle room there, whether you're a little bit higher or lower. There's going to be the same thing with knee height. Everyone's knee is about maybe like 4 inches, let's say.
Right.
So you don't have to get it like at your kneecap every time. As long as you're in the general knee area, you're going to be fine. You're not going to be penalized. With that, okay, let's say we go out and play. We totally forget we're dropping from knee height. We drop from shoulder height. Oh no. Can we save ourselves? Can we not get a penalty? Yes. You have to fix it before you make a stroke at it. So if you go out and you drop from shoulder height, and you realize it, oh, no, we're dropping from knee height now, go ahead, pick that ball up, and fix it. But if you drop from shoulder height, and then you make a stroke at it, ooh, now we have a problem. You can't fix it anymore. You will be penalized, but that penalty is based on where you played the ball from. So again, we have that idea of reference point and relief area. We need to drop the ball in the relief area and play the ball from the relief area. So you drop from shoulder height, but let's say you get it in the right spot. You got it in the relief area. You're only getting a 1-stroke penalty for dropping in the wrong way. But you drop it from shoulder height and it rolls maybe 2 club lengths back now, which is no longer permitted by the rules because it's not in the right relief area. You're now getting 2-stroke penalties for playing the ball from the wrong spot. So moral of the story, drop the ball once and do it the wrong way. Fix it before you make a stroke at it. You still have a chance to fix it before you get penalized. And that penalty comes after you make a stroke at the ball. Any questions with dropping? Yes?
What happens if the ball bounces closer to the hole?
What happens if the ball bounces closer to the hole? Great question. So it depends on the relief area. So if you drop toward the back of your relief area and it bounces closer, but you're still in the proper area, and this will make sense once we start getting into dropping and the procedures, you'll kind of get that shaded area, you're fine. It's okay. If it bounces out of the relief area, that's when we have to either re-drop, and then if it bounces out again, you'll place it, and we'll cover that in a slide or two. Yeah, no problem. So club lengths. Club lengths are now different too. Before, we could choose what we wanted our club length to be. You could choose any club in your bag. That was fine. They've got away with that. So we're still trying to keep everyone about the same and everything. So knee height, while it might be different from person to person, we're still getting it in about the same area. Club lengths, it's always going to be the longest club in your bag that's not a putter. So for a lot of us, it'll be a driver, but if you don't carry a driver, it'll be your longest club that's not a putter. So it'll be maybe a few inches off from people depending on how long our drivers are, how tall we are, but that's the whole idea here. So club lengths are now the longest club in your bag that's not a putter. So we'll see this here.
When you drop in relief areas defined by 1 or 2 club lengths, in the 2019 rules, a club length will always mean the length of the longest club in your bag, except your putter. For most players, that club will be their driver, but not always. This player is using his driver to measure his 2 club length lateral relief area, outside a red penalty area. This player's back on the line relief area is 1 club length on either side of and behind the point he has chosen on the line from the hole, through where his ball was unplayable in the bunker. He is estimating the size of his relief area without measuring, then dropping well within 1 club length of that point. Finally, when a player measures with a shorter club, it is still the longest club in their bag, except the putter that defines the relief area. Remember, when you drop, your ball must always land in, come to rest in, and be played from the relief area.
So, club lengths. Don't choose whatever club you want anymore. On the other side of that, if we're playing out, maybe it's wet, and you hit across from where the cart path is, and you have just one club in your hand, maybe you have two, but you don't have a driver. And you're like, oh no, I was in a penalty area, I need to take relief. Please don't feel like you have to run back to the cart to grab your driver to take relief. I would suggest everyone kind of have an idea of how long their longest club is, for a driver, for again, most of us, probably all of us, and use the club you have in your hand, but know that you have your club length, your relief area is still based on that longest club in your bag. So maybe you use the 7 or 8 iron you have in your hand, you add on maybe an inch or two because that's how long the driver is.
Right.
Don't feel like you have to carry your driver with you everywhere or run back to your cart because you need it to measure. Use the club you have in your hand to take relief, but just know that that relief area is still going to be the same length every single time. The longest club in your bag, that's not a putter. Yes?
I'm just kind of lost on this. Why do they care whether you use a shorter club? You're just making it a smaller area for you. What's the whole point of this?
Great question. So the question is, why does it matter? Why do we have to have the same club? Why can't we use a shorter club? Maybe there's an area on the course where you get the whole, it might not be all fairway. Maybe you're better off picking a shorter club because you're going to have a better area to work with. That's kind of one of the reasons why we
If you use a
think.
longer club, you still have that shorter area. It doesn't change.
If you use a shorter club, your relief
No,
area
you're-
shrinks.
Right.
You drop it, it goes outside the relief area.
Your relief area is smaller with your shorter club.
So, and it's also to make it universal for everyone. So everyone's using the longest club in their bag. If you're a really tall person, sorry, your relief areas are probably going to be a little bit larger. But for everyone, it's going to be around the same size. And you don't get the advantage of a shorter club, a shorter area. You're going to get it in a better spot, let's say. So when to redrop. So we've kind of touched on this. We talked about when you would drop multiple times, but when would you drop, and then place, which is what we would have done before. And that's if you drop the ball in the right way, you get it in the right spot, and then it rolls outside your relief area. So we'll see that here.
In the 2019 rules, when dropping and taking free relief or penalty relief, your ball must be dropped in the defined relief area, and it must come to rest in there too. Most of the time, with the knee-height dropping procedure, that will happen on your first drop. When it doesn't, drop a second time. If that drop doesn't stay within the relief area either, place a ball where your second drop first touched the ground.
So let's talk first, before we talk about drop, place, when would you drop as many times as you need to get it right? So that would be if you drop in the wrong way, so not from knee height. If you're dropping from shoulder height, you are going to fix that as many times as you need to get it right. If you keep dropping from shoulder height for some reason, you would fix it until you get it right. Same thing, we've heard it a couple times, the ball has to land or hit a spot in the relief area. So if you were to drop the ball from knee height, but it landed outside the relief area, and I don't mean come up like end here where it rolls out, I mean touches the ground when it first drops in the relief area. If you're just missing the relief area, you haven't dropped the ball, you would drop as many times as you need to until you get that ball to hit a spot in the relief area. And we've also heard a couple times, don't let the ball hit you on the way down. So if you're dropping the ball from knee height, you're in the relief area, but the ball hits your foot first, you have not dropped the ball. You're going to fix that as many times as you need to get it right. On the other side of that, if you drop the ball and it hits the ground but then rolls up to your foot and it hits you then, as long as it's in the right spot, you do not have to re-drop. Also, as long as you don't deliberately put your foot there to cause it from going somewhere you don't want it to. But if you drop the ball, it hits the ground in the right spot and then rolls up against your foot accidentally, no problem. As long as it's still in the right spot, you do not have to re-drop. You're going to hit that ball. When the drop, place comes into play, is when you've done everything right, drop from knee height, the ball's hit the ground first in a spot in the relief area, hasn't hit your foot or hit you, but then it rolls out. Maybe we saw here it rolls in front of the relief area, maybe it rolls behind the relief area. You're gonna re-drop, And again, you can switch sides. You saw him try one side, okay. Oh, let me try this side now.